MMA Boxing Talk here. What a weekend of fights we had. UFC 216 was awesome, especially the two title fights. I mean, both with tremendous submissions. Mighty Mouse Johnson, I'm going to make a separate video for him probably in the next few days um, because is just tremendous, and that submission was mind-blowing stuff. But I want to talk about Tony Ferguson in this video and his win over Kevin Lee. I mean, great win. He showed his durability once again. He showed, he was in a bad situation in the first round. Could have been a lot worse. But Tony, looked fresh, and was really never in that much trouble. And then really, brought it to Kevin Lee in rounds 2 and 3, getting the submission in the third round. It's 10 wins in a row in the Shark Tank division of the UFC. I mean, this division is stacked. You have guys like Pettis and Taysimov, Alaya Quinta, who are outside of the top 10, So the top 10 is absolutely stacked. And, it has been for a long time. Tony Ferguson has gone undefeated in 4 years in that division, winning 10 fights in a row, beating quality opposition. I can't stress the quality. He's got one of the best resumes in the UFC right now. He's a pound for pound fighter, no doubt. Now he has an interim strap. Now he's a threat to Conor McGregor, and he's in the conversation. So I really feel that the fans need to get behind this fight. The fans need to pressure Dana White and the UFC to make this fight happen. Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson. I think it's a tremendous fight. I think both guys are interesting characters. Of course, Tony is not on the level of stardom as Conor, and he never will be, but that doesn't matter. Anyone Conor fights is a big deal, and the UFC could promote the fuck out of this fight. They could make, it wouldn't be very hard to promote Tony Ferguson as a threat to Conor McGregor and this absolute savage that he really is. And he's got some nice sound bites. Of course, they can play the his call out of Conor McGregor in the octagon after the fight. That was awesome. Called him a piece of shit. Called him McNugget. Called him motherfucker. Said he was gonna defend or vacate. All the perfect things he had to say. So I really think the fans should get on social media on all platforms, retweet everything, post stuff, tag Dana White, tag the UFC, make sure they know what the fans want. And what the thing is too is that the Diaz McGregor trilogy, because I know a lot of people want to see that trilogy, and for good reason, but we want to see Conor defend the title and against someone who's been active, been doing great. I mean, what's Nate Diaz done recently? Not a whole lot. Definitely not a 10-fight win streak. He's never came close to that in UFC. And what I'm getting at, though, is that trilogy can wait. That trilogy will always be, it'll always be important. It'll always matter, even if it doesn't happen for a year or a year and a half or even 2 years. I mean, unless Nate Diaz doesn't fight for 2 straight years, then okay, maybe not. But even if we wait a year, like next December, let's say, the Conor Nate Diaz fight will still be interesting no matter what happens then. Even if Conor doesn't have the belt, because their first 2 fights, Conor and Nate, they weren't even for the title anyway. Conor's straps weren't even on the line for those fights. So I mean, who cares if that happens next? That fight can wait. It'll always be interesting. It'll always catch the fans' imagination, and it'll always be a huge draw, and that fight will be successful. But right now, the fight that has to happen is Ferguson versus Conor McGregor. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't be hard to promote Tony Ferguson. He's been on a 10-fight win streak. The guy has a crazy, funky style. The guy gets finishes, both submissions and strikes. He's tough as nails. He has a fight-friendly style. I mean, fans just love the way he fights, but they don't know about him enough yet. So he's got a belt as well, so that looks good for the casual fans, even though it's an interim title. A lot of people see it as the real belt. So, and Kevin Lee, great fighter. He's got so much potential. He did really well in that fight. Considering, he also had staph infection. the weight cut, and the staph infection probably had a lot to do with the bad weight cut, but still, he had to do all that. So hats off to him. The future's bright for Kevin Lee. Just don't know what division it'll be. But this guy, I don't know who he'll fight next. If he stays at 155, I'd like to see him either fight the winner of Gaethje Alvarez, and if he doesn't fight the winner of that fight, I would have Kevin Lee fight the winner of Dustin Poirier versus Anthony Pettis, or maybe have a rematch with Ali Quinta, which I believe is Kevin Lee's last loss. So hats off to him. But Tony Ferguson, I mean, what more can you say about this guy? Truly amazing. He deserves the red panty night against Conor McGregor, and I think it's a great fight. That's the other thing. It's a great, interesting fight. The build up will be good, and Conor. Who knows if Conor can really get inside of Tony Ferguson's head and really rattle him, because we saw with Nate Diaz, didn't really happen a whole lot. And I think Tony is an old school OG, similar to Nate Diaz. I mean, this guy's 33 years old. He's been around the block. He's fearless in the octagon. There's no words or nothing that's gonna rattle him or really or get to him, as I should say. But this fight needs to happen. I think it's a tough fight for both guys. I think that Conor McGregor. I just feel that Conor McGregor could very well beat Tony Ferguson, and he has some attributes that would give Ferguson a lot of problems. His precision, Conor's pressure, his countering abilities, all these things is going to give Tony Ferguson a whole lot of trouble. But, and this is a big but if Tony Ferguson can weather the storm in the first 2 rounds, his cardio is tremendous. He's got Nate Diaz cardio, maybe better. It could be better. I mean, he landed 200 significant strikes against RDA at high altitude in Mexico. I mean, you don't really get much better cardio than that. And he's a lot more creative than Nate Diaz, and his strikes are more deadlier than Nate Diaz. So he could very well finish Conor if Conor gets tired. Where when Conor got tired, Nate never really came close to finishing him in the second fight anyway. So that's all I'm saying. It's a great fight. Let us, the fans, get behind this fight. Promote. Get the hashtags going. Defend or vacate. Hashtag McGregor, Ferguson. And always tag Dana White in the UFC. That's it for this one. But I'm going to be definitely making more videos about, like I said, the one for Mighty Mouse Johnson, a specific one for him, and probably in the next few days, another McGregor Ferguson video. I want to get the word out. It's the fight to make. We've seen the Diaz fight already. We've seen it twice. That fight can wait. It'll always be relevant, like I said. So let's let the UFC and Dana White know. That's it for this one. If you like the video, subscribe. Also, I'm on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1, and I'm also on Instagram at MMA Boxing Talk. Peace.